What's the best electric guitar to start with? We're here to help.
You can't learn an electric guitar. Surprise.
Hey, it's me, Baxter.
And me, Jonathan.
We're here to talk about electric guitars, what you should start with, what we think are the best ones to start with. We've been through this a lot, and a lot.
Scientifically researched, peer-reviewed.
That is not true. We don't do any of that. But we've played guitars for a long time. We've taught guitars for a long time. We've seen the winners. We've seen the failures. We sort of have like our, sort of top three
opinions.
Opinions
we
that
got
are
thoughts.
minted in gold. Here we go. Let's just get right into it. Number one, without a doubt, we often go to the Squier.
Well, yeah.
It's just it can't be your basic bare bones box Squier that you think. Sometimes those.
Some of them suck. I mean, they do.
I mean, they're gonna have some issues with some of our losers later on. We'll get into that. But
Gotta go like one tier up. If you could go classic vibe, woo!
Classic vibe.
Man.
If you can start with that, that is one of the best starter guitars. That's one of the best finisher guitars. That's like Mortal Kombat finishing. That's like the Louis Beeman fantasy guitar right there. He has a classic vibe Squier body tattoo. It goes all the way down. I mean, the control knobs are down here. It's the toggle switch.
I'm just saying, if you're starting with a classic vibe,
yes.
Quote my grandmother, you're living high on the hog.
Yes, you are.
High on the hog. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going.
No, okay. Next one that they're just great. They play great. They look great. They have the Fender look and sound.
Just
we love
work.
it.
They're fun.
Jump into a whole other category entirely that does cover that a little bit too, but the PRS SE.
Oh my God.
They came out of nowhere.
Maryland's finest.
Built somewhere else.
No, well, but
it's a little boat ride from
coming
Maryland.
through Maryland. It's fine.
They do come through Maryland. No, but it's we can arguably say like from the launch of the PRS SE years back, okay,
Yeah.
to what they are today,
Really
some of the
good.
best guitars that you can buy for your money, hands down. Like we can't thumbs up. We're Fender diehards. We love them, but when it comes down to play, are we doing players? Or are we doing a PRS SE Silver Sky? That's a toying cost.
Yeah, if you're in that price,
that's a high price range.
But I mean, I'd take people over to look at just even the standard SEs a lot. Because I also, we talked about this when Sean sort of brought this up and we were talking about videos this morning. Sometimes I think guitars push new guitarists into the direction they're going to play, like what kind of things they're going to learn.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think the SEs are maybe slightly more versatile,
It's like
depends.
I'm so like hardwired to
A Strat is the best.
Strat and Les Paul, like Tele Strat,
I
Les
know.
Paul. Like
I know.
I know that, and so when I first would think like PRS is going to make you go into prog rock or progressive metal or new metal or spelled with an NU, just in case anyone's confused.
Basically, you're going to start a corn tribute.
Which would be amazing.
Canned corn. Cream of corn.
My favorite was when we were at Merle Fest one year. We went to the sushi restaurant and they had cream corn as a side at sushi. Gross.
You just pour it out over the.
No,
little slabs
that's
of
we might
fish.
jump back in that more. Like now, the other one that's sort of the secret giant under the bed. Give it to him. Yamaha.
Got it for Yamaha. That's true.
He forgot. Never mind. So I'm just going to steal it from you. The guy,
It's like,
Baxter put me on the spot. Crap.
Listen, you can do it. This is one of those things. Someone called the store yesterday, and they asked me about two guitars. One we sold, and one was a Yamaha. And I was like, "Look, man, I'll be honest, Yamaha. You need to go buy the Yamaha." I mean, because it was just true. Because Yamaha makes fantastic
They make
guitars,
great acoustics. They make great electrics. We're talking electrics today.
especially in that beginner
That's their
range.
Yeah. What's the one that Sean has?
Oh, the
The Rev Star type.
the Rev Star.
Yeah. It's
The Chris Buckacaster.
Yeah, I mean it's a great guitar. It's and they have their new line. There's the the Pacificas they launched and the fancy ones.
The fancy ones. We got to play those. You saw the video.
Great, but we don't care about those right now. We're talking about starter guitars, and it's also like, as we're on the point of starter guitars, it's nice to start with an affordable, not breaking the bank starter guitar. Even if you can break the bank, it's just sort of fun to have something to work to. It's like getting a Shelby Cobra for your first car. Like that's just what else you gonna get after that?
Right.
Except for a real man's car like a Camaro.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Like a nice 68
I'm stupid.
Camaro.
But no, they make great guitars. Now let's jump into some that we might say to think twice before you jump in. A little bit of questionable. We're gonna start with one it's a little controversial.
Take some heat.
We're gonna take a little heat here, And they've made some leaps and bounds, and they have some great ones right now, but still a little scary in that low end stuff.
The Epiphony.
Yeah.
Some say Epiphone.
Yeah, it's now that we love some of my favorite guitars are Epiphones. I love the Jared James Nichols. I love the Emily Wolf Signature Series. The Dave Grohl is a stunner.
But you know, those get, we're talking about a little more money for those.
$1,300 guitars a lot of times are not $899.
And again, some of the new, like, inspired by Gibson stuff is pretty awesome.
Great guitar.
But stuff we grew up with, like a used Epiphone, maybe not, you know?
And when all those ones that still come in those $200 sort of packs, it's the same as some of the cheap Squiers.
Yeah.
Like your fretwork is going to be hit or miss or pure razor blades, and you might cut a finger off.
Don't stay in tune for the most part. I mean, you know, they're just not good.
So that's like the best of the worst in some ways. And don't get us wrong, we love a lot of them as we just named, but let's jump to the next one. You want to hit them? Rogue?
Good old Rogue. You could buy, they make any musical instrument, but they're all pretty rough, pretty bad.
They make an affordable, decent mandolin is what I found.
I had a Rogue mandolin.
I feel like that's their best thing they make, but otherwise the guitars, first act, run for the hills.
Yeah.
If you see anything at Walmart
Or like QVC.
or on an online shopping thing like not the Esteban. Those are
glorious.
Those are glorious instruments. Keith Urban's some of the worst things ever made. But the Esteban,
Sadly.
unbelievable. Like we love Esteban. Somebody's gonna have them. Like yes. I don't know why we like them. Be careful for some of the in-store shop brands like Mitchell's and whatnot too. It's like they're not terrible, but it's like you can get the same guitar from Yamaha that is a better guitar.
Yeah.
You know, and we're like the Yamaha makes the best solid wood guitar for the most affordable price.
Yeah.
You know, that's acoustic. I was just thinking I jumped ship for a minute. I'm sorry. That's a whole other video, maybe, if we enjoy doing this one enough. No, but then jump back to something you said earlier. We were talking about how certain guitars will definitely steer you a little bit.
I just think the aesthetic and what you get into,
And the sound.
the sound for sure. But I don't know if you even know that as much when you're starting out. But I do. I think they sometimes influence us on what we should be playing.
Well, yeah, because like if let's say you get a PRS SE custom 24 with 2 humbuckers, that type of style, or you get a classic vibe Squier,
Like a telly or something.
telly, like, you know, single coils, classic sort of twangy sounds versus a very much darker, more driven sound.
Right.
It's going to work better with gains, not going to be so great clean all the time for certain things. If you want that telly, it's going to, sonically, you're going to be going in different directions maybe. You might not notice, or you will be disappointed.
And I do think with the internet today, it's probably people research a little more. So they might come in and want that telly if they're into like Americana, you know, they want to sound like Zach Bryan or, you know, whoever, Sturgill Simpson, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
So maybe
Guys like Sean, when we met Sean when he was young, like he's very much style driven with his guitars when he was a young dude in his teens, you know? Like I remember seeing him coming with the Jazz Master with the HH. It didn't have the proper Jazz Master pickups. It just was a weird shape. He likes weird stuff.
Yeah.
Now he plays pretty much classic instruments. If you think about all of it.
as much or more than anyone else.
Anyone else? I probably play the weirdest instruments here in some ways.
I will say this. If you're listening to us and you have one of these ones that we said maybe aren't the greatest, don't panic. Because I've seen great guitarists learn on all sorts of horrible things.
Well, and like that goes across guitars because
you know.
across the guitars all across the board. Even like, you know, people like will have bitched for years about the 70s guitars being still the best Martin I've ever played was a 1975 D35.
And some of the best recorded music, I think, was probably made with some of those instruments when they were brand new.
And we both voted. I think you and I both. We've talked about it before years ago, but I would have wanted to be a rock star in the 70s
Oh, heck yeah.
of any decade.
No question.
The most fun, the most female companionship, the most interesting things to go explore and expand your mind. I think you're making a lot of money too.
Kind of the best of all squished together,
And
you know.
before like this sort of the 80s, like, you know,
Sort of a little too
got a little too real there.
decadent, you know.
The 90s just kind of got like did its thing once.
Then you were just sad.
Yeah, sad. Like
You're a rock star. You're
I'm wearing
depressed.
flannel.
What's going
Life
on?
stinks.
These
Kinda like
boots
the
are
kids today
uncomfortable.
sometimes. Life's so
Stuff,
bad.
you know.
I'm so depressed. Let me look at my supercomputer in my pocket right now. Sad, sad, sad.
70s, it was just
Awesome.
do it. Let's go do it.
I would just love to be in Fleetwood Mac. You know, just well, sort of.
I think it would have been awesome.
Except for like the love triangles. I wouldn't have minded being a love triangle with her.
Even that would have been fine.
God bless. So I mean, those are sort of our picks, But again, like the big winners that we think: Squier, the classic PRS SE line, and
Yamaha.
They also make great four-wheelers and jet skis.
Everything.
And so I think they should start pairing jet skis with like a guitar.
It would be like when you used to buy the Volkswagen and you got the little first act guitar. You buy the right jet ski and you get.
I mean, I almost bought a car once because it had a Fender stereo
speaker
system.
thing.
The whole stereo system.
The stereo, yeah.
It was the Volkswagen Atlas, and they're like you get the premium package, you get the Fender stereo. I was like,
because those were the ones with the first act, right? Like, what was the one where you could plug the first act into the car and play it through the stereo system?
I can't remember. I know there's a Marshall that came with one of some car too for a bit, but it was like a digital Marshall, which was sort of like a bummer.
Okay.
Like that doesn't really count.
I just remember. Do you remember what were the Dodge Magnum? Do you remember those? It was like a weird station wagon, but also kind of like a Charger in the front.
Charger, station wagon / hearse.
And in the
like the PT Cruiser or the HHR.
Well, I just remember one of the commercials. They're putting a Marshall stack and some guitars by there, and I was like, yeah, that's what I need. A Hemi powered.
My wife used to be a group of an HHR fan group, so they would all get together in HHRs and just drive around. And
okay,
it's a horrible car. Horrible. It's like sorry if you have one. They're probably good guitars. They just look really bad. That's all. I'm moving on. Let us know your thoughts. If we missed the mark entirely, if we've hit it a few times too. There's some other great ones.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. This is the best guitar ever. I love my first act. It's amazing. The plastic
We're
cover.
speaking in generalities here, so.
Okay, well, just to kind of don't feel like you got to break the bank.
You don't.
On a first guitar. Spend more money on the amp.
Nope.
That's the secret. Click like, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Peace, as always, be with you guys.